Hello, my name is Betsy Cooper, Director of the University of Washington Dance Program. Welcome to UW Dance Presents Chamber Dance Company. In this episode, we bring you the work of German dancer and choreographer Dore Hoyer. The great German modern dance pioneer Mary Wigman believed that Dore Hoyer was the greatest modern dancer of her era, a superb technician and uncompromising artist. Yet Hoyer is virtually unknown in the United States and absent from the primers of 20th century dance history. I believe her relative anonymity is due largely to the period in which she danced, from 1931 to 1967. She was a choreographer out of step with her time. Hoyer represents the second generation of German modern dance pioneers. Her artistic roots lay in the teachings of Rudolf von Laban and Mary Wigman. Hoyer studied at the famous Palluca School in Dresden in the late 1920s and performed with Wigman's company in the mid-1930s. But Hoyer was always drawn more to solo work. She embarked on her dance career just as the democratic Weimar government collapsed and the Nazi regime gained power. The Nazis' repressive cultural policies marginalized and suppressed many members of the Ausdrucksdance community. After World War II, Ausdrucksdance was eclipsed by the ballet boom. Audiences had no interest in seeing work that probed deeply into human emotion, and Hoyer had no interest in choreographing for ballets or operas, although that path would have provided her with institutional support for her work. So she existed on the fringe, finding it increasingly difficult to find an audience for her work in Germany. She created the solo cycle Affectos Humanos in 1962, 5 years before she took her own life. Each solo embodies an emotional state. The performance of these solos illustrates brilliantly the importance of space as a compositional element in the dance. Space is a visceral, animate, and powerful dance partner in these works. These dances also demand a total commitment and authenticity on the part of the performers if the emotional state is to resonate with the audience.
Betsy, who is Dore Hoyer?
Dore Hoyer is remembered, I think, primarily as a powerful performer. She was born in 1911, and she studied at the Palooka Schule, or the Palooka School, for a year, and she performed with the Wigman Company. She didn't study with Mary Wigman, but she performed with Mary Wigman's company for a year and started doing her own work and formed various groups. She felt very misunderstood. Even though she won some choreographic prizes, she felt that her work was not understood and tremendously undervalued. And she took her own life. It was it was like December 31st to January 2nd, you know, so they don't know whether it was in 67 or 68 that she took her own life.
Mm. How did you become interested in her?
Well, I had decided to do this Wigman lineage project, and as we've been saying, I was living in Hong Kong at the time. And I had just decided to do it, and coming to Hong Kong was Dr. Claudia Jeschke, and she was on a big trip around the world, and she gave a couple of lectures, one about Nijinsky's Afternoon of a Faun, and the other about Dore Hoyer and Efectos Humanos. And when I saw, she showed some video clips from it, and I tell you, my eyes just went like that. I couldn't believe the power of this woman's performance, even on this, you know, it was the taping was done in the 60s, and obviously in a small space, and not a full-blown theatrical performance, but something for television. But there was something about it that just, I thought was amazing, this power that she was able to get. And the structure of the piece is so incredible. So she had this incredible passion, but also very formulated structures. She's coming from a very strong emotional base. She's pulling from Spinoza and his ideas about emotion and how that can be a catalyst for movement. So she's coming from that point of view. I've looked at her notes and her drawings at the archive and from when she was creating this piece. And she was obviously very, very concerned about floor plan and about direction. And apparently when she was filming the piece, Waltraud Lulay told me that she was directing that filming as well. So the camera placement, almost in a Hitchcock way, was absolutely crucial. Now that couldn't be how an audience would look at it, right?
Right.
No way. I mean, you'd have to be in some kind of pod going up and down and over to look at it as the camera's looking at it. So she was very interested in that kind of angling and precision in the spatial aspects in terms of floor plan, in terms of direction in space. She also wasn't seeing these in a narrative way. Yeah, that one leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to love. No. They're fragmented bits of personality, which takes us to a more postmodernist aesthetic, perhaps.
The award-winning UW Dance program is home to Chamber Dance Company, whose mission is to present and archive modern dance works of historic and artistic significance for future generations. Tune in next time for more Chamber Dance Company performances here on UW TV.